Members and members of the public, good afternoon, members. We'll call the Committee on Jobs and Economic Development to order. Today is Wednesday, February 21st. Members, we have a quorum. A quorum is present. Just as a roadmap, today we'll be hearing a few bills. First, we'll hear 3181 from Senator Pappas, and then Senate File 3411 from Senator Jasinski, and then Senate File 3636 and Senate File 3788 from our own Vice Chair, Senator Mohamed, who is going to be with us fashionably late. So just make sure that we know when the great Senator Mohamed comes. And I will call on you in 1 second, Senator Nelson. Just for the testifiers' purposes, we will be limiting all testifiers to 2 minutes. That's the policy of our committee. And we do appreciate brevity and not repeating testimony that we've already heard. So we ask that if you have more than one testifier to kind of build on that. We don't give that, base that limitation on senators or others who are coming to present the bill, only to testifiers. So we like to give everyone an opportunity to be heard. Before we go to Senator Pappas, I am going to call on the wonderful Senator Nelson.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Just a brief question. I'm getting a lot of questions on paid family medical leave, and I thought we were getting an update on that today. I'm just curious, I think it's not on your agenda, if I heard correctly?
So, Senator Nelson, we talked about that at the last hearing, that we had to change the date for the paid family and medical leave, and we will be rescheduling that, and so that's why we decided to bring some bills in, but we'll make sure that you're notified of that as well as the public, and we will go from there. Thank you, Mr. Chair. And just so that you know, when we found out immediately that we had to change that date, we did contact Senator Draheim, who is the lead, some time ago, and made sure that he was aware of that as well. Thank you so much, and thank you for those questions, members. You can always ask us questions. We appreciate those. All right, now, first up, we have Senate File 3181 from Senator Pappas. Senator Pappas, please come forward as you are here with us and at the testifiers table. And if you'll be so kind as to state your name for the record, and I know that you also have a testifier with you. Would you like for us also, Senator Pappas, to do your A1 amendment?
Mr. Chairman, I don't have an A1 amendment. Tim.
Mr. Chair, that's my A1 amendment. I'd like to offer it after we hear the presentation.
Okay, thank you so much. Okay, sorry about that, Senator Pappas. I saw it, and I see on my notes that we have an A1 amendment, but we realize that it's from Senator Pratt. So, Senator Pappas, welcome to the committee.
Thank you so much, Mr. Chairman and members. I'm here on behalf of the St. Paul YWCA to support their St. Paul Career Pathways program. The YWCA St. Paul has been deeply rooted in the Rondo community for many years and has focused on programs in areas of critical need in the community, housing, income and employment, and youth leadership and empowerment. While open to everyone, YWCA St. Paul's program participants are primarily from communities of color. This bill would provide funding to the YWCA St. Paul's Career Pathways program, which offers 2 certification programs, a CNA and phlebotomy. I had to pause before I said that word. Phlebotomy that will enable economic self-sufficiency to participants. I'm very pleased to support this bill, Senate File 3181, for the YWCA's important work, and happy to introduce with me today Ms. Yvette Izia Martinez, the YWCA St. Paul Director of Community Impact and Program Strategy.
Welcome to the committee. State your name for the record and give us your 2 minutes of testimony. We really appreciate you being here.
Thank you, Chair Champion and members of the committee. My name is Yvette Izia Martinez, and I'm the Director of Community Impact and Program Strategy at YWCA St. Paul. Since 1907, YWCA St. Paul has been a champion for equity in the East Metro. Our mission is to eliminate racism, empower women, promote peace, justice, freedom, and dignity for all. Each asset building program was developed specifically to improve outcomes for youth and adults marginalized because of race, culture, gender, or economic status. The YWCA Simple Career Pathways provides customized services and ongoing support to help BIPOC participants, primarily Black African American women in the ages of 30 to 40, single head of household as well, to overcome barriers to obtaining and sustaining employment. We offer a CNA and phlebotomy program. These are high growth and in-demand careers. The certification program prepares participants for a specific career pathway that will enable economic self-sufficiency. Participants attend a program as part of a cohort and learn basic skills for employment, including cover letter and resume writing, interview skills, conflict management, resolution, and leadership skills, among others. But mainly, they learn that they can actually sustain their families and be self-sufficient. YWCA Simple partners with accredited licensed institutions to provide technical training. Staff work with participants to explore their strengths, goals, and areas of growth to help them learn how to navigate societal systems and resources. Training is integrated with robust case coordination, holistic support services, and job placement services. Employment retention is supported via post-placement wraparound safety net services that include coaching and crisis management assistance. Training services and testing fees are provided at no cost to participants. YWCA St. Paul plays an important role in our community, bringing a community-centered approach, deep roots, as we work to combat employment and economic disparities.
All right, thank you so very much. Did you want to finish your thought? Really, you're already over time, so I'll just give you another sentence if you want to finish your thought.
Thank you.
Oh,
No, that's okay.
even better. Thank you. No, just kidding. Go ahead, I'm sorry.
No, we're good, Mr. Chairman. Thank you so much.
Okay, thank you. And if you'll stay there, that would be great. And I want to invite up Martina Lowers.
She's not here.
Oh, she's not
I
here.
believe
Okay.
she's not.
We also had her on the schedule
Yeah.
to speak. So, members, any questions for Senator Pappas or the testifier? Senator Putnam?
Thank you, Mr. Chair. How many folks do you think you're going to be able to help with this? What's your ambition? What's your goal for the number of people whose lives you're going to be able to change?
Ms. Isaiah Martinez.
Thank you for that question. With additional funding, we should be able to support approximately 100 individuals from the community per year. As of last year, we were able to provide support to 25 participants in a lapse of 6 months, but this was restricted because of funding.
Any follow-up, Senator Putnam? Any other questions from the membership? Senator Pratt?
Thank you, Mr. Chair. And Ms. Martinez, so would this be 100 additional, or would this fund 100 in total?
Ms. Martinez?
Thank you for that question. This will be 100 additional. Last year, we provided support to 20, so this will be 100 additional to the 20 that we're currently serving.
Senator Pratt?
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Nobody can argue that we don't have a need for certified nursing assistants. I know there's a number of programs working to get those approved. But Mr. Chair, I would like to offer the A1 amendment as you identified it earlier.
Senator Pratt offers the A1 amendment. I think you might have it in your packet.
Just means you have to do a report.
And Senator Pratt, will you be so kind as to explain the A1 amendment?
Thank you, Mr. Chair. As I was looking at the bill, and just thinking about how we do grants, we should have some guidelines, some standard expectations around how the funds are used. As Senator Mohamed likes to ask, when the funds expire, and then also have reporting back to us to make sure that the money is so we have an idea of how the money's been used, how successful the program has been. So effectively, that's what this amendment does, is it reiterates the rationale of the program, as Ms. Martinez said, because it really wasn't in the bill. So I wanted to make sure that we captured that, and if there were any changes along the way of what those objectives were. The number of people served by the grant, we've talked about it here. The number of, but not only those served, but graduated. I think we want to make sure that we're focused on programs that are successful in getting people to the end state. how much it costs per graduate right now. I think we're expecting it to be about, $700 per graduate. No, 1,000.
7,000.
What? 7,000. It's math. I have a problem with that. I'm a banker. They're going to take away my banking license for that. So $7,000 per person, and then, I think just a sense of what type of intervention strategies or as I tried to utilize the strategic innovation program type of concept, just so we get a better sense of what those strategies are. And then reporting back on the types of jobs and how much these people are making, because, and Ms. Martinez, Mr. Chair, if I'm, as part of the amendment, it talks about a living wage job, but I don't know what that means.
Isaiah Martinez, Ms. Isaiah Martinez. To the question?
To determine what livable wage means, I think we will need a long time today to answer that question. I guess that is something that I would like to go back to be able to provide a more exact answer to you.
Senator Pratt.
Well, Mr. Chair, and that's absolutely fine, but I think to make sure that the program that we're looking at is hitting the goals that we've talked about here in the meeting, and making sure that we get that reporting back, not only for this program, but I'm hoping for any other program that we start to look at down the line. So I would respectfully ask members to support the amendment.
Senator Pratt, Senator Pappas to the A1 amendment.
Yeah, Mr. Chairman, I think it would be helpful to know what the starting salary is for CNNs and phlebotomists, and also the kind of support services that they're providing, in addition to the tuition for the program.
So do you support the A1 amendment, Senator Pappas?
Mr. Chairman, I think it's really up to the committee, but I think that Ms. Isaiah Martinez could answer more specifically to respond to Senator Pratt's concerns.
I think that would be helpful. Ms. Isaiah Martinez, to the question.
The average starting salary, hourly salary for CNA varies between $14 to $18 an hour, depending on the type of employer. If it is a hospital, it is higher. If it is a senior home, it tends to be a bit lower. It also depends on the services provided at the senior home. For phlebotomist, the average starting hourly salary is between $17 to $20 an hour.
Any follow-up questions to the testifier or Senator Pappas before we take a vote on the A1 amendment? Senator Pappas.
Mr. Chairman, I did want her also to talk about the kind of support services they provide to the applicants who kind of maybe need some more assistance and walking them through the program and making sure that they stick to the program.
Ms. Martinez, Isaiah Martinez, to the question.
Thank you. As you all stated, there are many programs for CNA. The difference with ours is that we work to eliminate the barriers that exist, particularly for women of color, to complete the program. So the support services will include childcare. It may also include transportation, the equipment to complete the classes, which usually consist of a watch, the scrubs, shoes, and then support as they start classes. Is not easy to go back as an adult to complete education. And many times this is actually what keeps our community from going back to completing such certification.
Thank you. Senator Gustafson had her hand up first.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. So just looking at the amendment here, it's on line 1.3. It says, funds in this section must not be used for administrative costs of the program. But then if you go down to 1.6, it says that the YWCA St. Paul must provide a report regarding the use of grant funds, which sounds like an administrative cost. So I'm wondering if, like, I don't know how much a report costs. Maybe somebody here can explain that, but it sounds like this would be a pretty extensive cost to a report. Looks like a lot of, time.
Senator Pratt.
Data. And I'm just wondering if we're also saying that none of these funds can be going to administrative costs, that puts the burden of that on a group that's already coming here to ask for money. So.
Senator Pratt, and before you answer, it's my understanding that usually there's some administrative cost that is provided in order to make sure that these things and reporting and other things that will need to be done by the agency are allowed. But this is your amendment, so Senator Pratt, to the question.
Well, thank you, Mr. Chair, and I'm presuming this is going to be laid over anyway, so we can continue to talk about that. But I think that these are existing programs, as we've heard the testifier say. These should be data that are already, being collected, and we're asking for it to be shared specifically in regards to these funds. If there is a significant cost, I think it's something that we can talk about. But what I really wanted to get across was the idea that, so often we see these percentages at, 10+%. And I really want to make sure that this is money that's going to benefit the recipients of the grants versus supporting the operating costs of the organization.
Senator Gustafson, any follow-up?
Yeah, Mr. Chair, thank you. And I agree. I want to make sure that it is addressing the needs too. I'm just wondering if either we remove that line or just find another way for us to pay for it. But you're right, this is going to be held over whatever the chair wants it to be. So probably don't need to have an extensive conversation on it, but I just the duality of what the amendment says, I wanted to point out.
That is correct. This will be laid over, so members will still have an opportunity to work on it in the event that if this bill is going to be resurrected. Senator Putnam, I think you had a question.
Thank you, Mr. Chair, but as usual, Senator Gustafson was both smarter and faster than me, because that is the exact same question I was going to ask.
All right, any other questions for the testifier? So Senator Pappas, if you want to give us any, well, no, we're on the amendment, I'm sorry. Senator Pratt offers the A1 amendment. Any other discussion? Seeing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed say no. The motion prevails. The A1 amendment is adopted. Any other questions before we lay the bill over for possible inclusion and give Senator Pappas an opportunity to give us closing statement?
Mr. Chairman, in the
Pappas?
interest of time, I won't do that. I just would appreciate your support.
All right. Senate file number 3181 is laid over for possible inclusion. Thank you.
Great, thank you.
Thank you.
All right, members, next up we have Senator Jasinski. Please come up to the testifier's table to present Senate file number 3411.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. I was just telling my testifiers how good you're getting at pronouncing my name after 8 years. You're doing a heck of a job. So,
Yeah, only because you threatened me and told me I better say it right. So thank you so much. So good to see you as usual.
thank you, Senator Champion. Again, I have Senate file number 3411 here in front of me. As I think several of you are on the bonding committee, so some of this might wrap over. We've been touring the state, and we're seeing a lot of wastewater treatment plants that need money and are failing across the state. Well, as you well know, on this committee, we have a workforce issue across the state. So this puts the two together, puts a new training program in Austin to train and qualify these people who are operating these important facilities across the state. And for some reason, on the bonding committee, I see a lot in southern Minnesota specifically that we're needing issues. So this would really put a location here in southern Minnesota that would make people get trained for this. So I do have two testifiers. I have Brenda Johnson, who's the Executive Director of Southeast Minnesota League of Municipalities, and I also have Austin's Mayor Steve King here as well to talk about the program. I won't go through the dollar amounts, but it's $350,000 a one-time. You'll see in the bill specifically puts dollar amounts to where that money goes to develop this program at Riverland Technical College in southern Minnesota. So with that, I'm going to turn it over to Ms. Johnson to testify on behalf of the bill. Thank you, Mr. Chair.
Thank you so much, Senator Jasinski. We are now going to Ms. Johnson. Please state your name for the record and give us your 2 minutes of testimony. Thank you so much for being here.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. My name is Brenda Johnson. I'm Executive Director for the Southeast League of Municipalities. Our cities in southern Minnesota, and then, by the way, I represent cities in Southeast, but this is a bill for all cities in southern Minnesota, not just Southeast. And yes, we've been working with cities all the way to Laverne. And there are cities in southern Minnesota have identified the need for a closer training location for both water and wastewater operators, and we need more recruitment to deal with a dwindling number of operators. Our concept targets people of all ages who want to either get their initial operator license or upgrade their skills and their license over a period of time, and they need a location that works with their schedule and their lifestyle. I've had an email just before the hearing with Rah from WDI in Southeast Minnesota, the Workforce Development. They want to partner with us on this, and that is wonderful. So there will be Workforce Center interactions. We already planned for that. Community college career counseling and course catalog information that leads to career discussions will also be able to lead to visits at cities for people to see the facilities and understand the projects involved. Current city water and wastewater personnel ready to get licensed and upgrade their license need to have close training. Other city public works staff wanting to begin a career in water or wastewater will be more likely to do so if the training option is convenient and close. Life gets more complicated when you start a family and you need to have childcare and you've got multiple jobs, you've got crazy schedules. That's what's happening in our cities. So that's why we need closer training. Cities also need to have reduced training costs. As you know, that small cities in particular are the training ground for many of these water and wastewater operators, and then it's no secret the operators get hired up by larger cities, and the small cities get to do it all over again. And that's why the travel costs are a big deal for small cities. I'd like to close with a statement from Bill Daly, recently retired water and wastewater superintendent, City of Lake Crystal. Excellent visionary decision if they can get this rolling. Agreed. Most of the schooling at vocational versus four-year degrees up north in the metro area. This would be a valuable opportunity to support. Bill nailed it.
Thank you so much, Ms. Johnson, and thank you for being here, and thank you for that additional word. We will now go to Mayor Steve King. He's the mayor of Austin. We welcome you to our committee. If you'd be so kind as to state your name for the record, and then proceed with your testimony. Thank you so much for being here.
Thank you, Chair Champion. My name is Steve King, the mayor of Austin, and happy to present here today what we're finding in southern Minnesota. Particularly, I can think of 3 cities right now going through a major wastewater treatment plant rebuild. Austin is $105 million plant renewal after a 100-year facility will be taken down and a new facility going up. Albert Lee is also in a major multi-million-dollar project, and so is Orinoco, and I think some surrounding cities are going together on their first wastewater treatment plant. So this is very much on the radar of our small cities out there in southern Minnesota. That also the need when you're switching over some of the rules from MDH and MPCA, as far as Austin's plant right now is all biological, and we're transferring over to chemical, and all that requires more training, more knowledge, and more I guess study of how it's to operate. In Austin alone, we have 8 operators that maintain our facility 24 hours a day. So we'd love to have more. We just can't find them. And we're not alone. This is one of those things that's a nice partnership between Riverland Community College, who does a great job having 3 campuses, Nowatan, Albert Lee, and Austin. And that they're known throughout the southern part of the state as being having robust curriculum. So we're giving them a chance to try to develop a wastewater and water treatment program to get more operators out there, because it is definitely a need.
Thank you so much for your testimony. I am now going to go to Senator Draheim, who has an amendment.
Thank you, both of you, for working on this, and Senator Jasinski, thank you. I have heard from the smaller communities all my communities are small, in my district, that there is a need for more staff, and if this is a way to get there, I'm 100% behind it, so thank you. It sounds reasonable. It sounds like something we need to do. It's not flashy. It's not going to make the headlines. But I do have an amendment. And the amendment is just like the last bill. It's transparency. It's a little reporting. Senator Pratt kind of covered the need of that quite well. Chair, I know last year you put on quite a few of your bills some transparency, and I think you'll see a theme of today of us reminding you that no matter where we end up, I think we need to do and continue to be watchful on our state resources as the budget's tightening up. So the A1 pretty much does the same thing that Pratt tried to accomplish and did accomplish on their first bill. We're doing it here on this bill and probably on the next two bills. So I urge everybody to vote yes. Thank you.
Any questions of Senator Draheim, who is the author of the A1 amendment? And I heard that Senator Draheim moved the A1 amendment. Any discussion? Senator Jasinski, what are your thoughts about the A1 amendment?
Thank you, Mr. Chair. I did have discussions with my testifiers. They have no problem with this amendment.
All right. Any additional testimonies? Seeing none, all in favor of the A1 amendment, say aye. Aye. All opposed, say no. The motion prevails. Senator Jasinski, I do have a question. I have a question related to what's on line 2.9. It appears that that is a line for administrative costs, and it's my understanding that that number represents roughly 14% of the grant. Is that correct?
Mr. Chair, I don't have a calculator, but that sounds about correct.
No.
No? Okay.
Well, it says here that...
It's 15,000, excuse me, I'll defer.
Thank you. So it says here that $35,000 on line 2.5, $35,000 is for administrative and overhead costs for the college to create and administer the water operator and wastewater operating training program. That appears to be, well, Ms. Johnson, if it's not 14%, what percentage of the grant is it?
I was looking at, thank you, Mr. Chair. I was looking at the fiscal agent, $15,000.
So if you aggregate those two, then now we're paying more money in administrative costs, because when you aggregate the line on 2.5 and the line on 2.9, you are now at $50,000. So tell me, what is the percentage of the grant for those two administrative costs?
Yep,
Ms.
it's
Ms.
you are
Johnson.
correct, sir. You are correct, Mr. Chair.
So even though we have a little time, Senator Nelson.
Oh, thank you, Mr. Chair. Just a couple other comments, certainly. Did we vote on the A1 amendment?
We have not voted on the A1 amendment.
My comments are after the A1 amendment, so.
Okay, no problem. No, we did vote on the A1, I'm
Okay.
sorry. We did vote on the A1 amendment.
Okay, so.
My apologies. Senator Nelson.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Yes, I just didn't want to get in the way of that good amendment. I just wanted to comment briefly on the need and the solution here that Senator Jasinski's brought forward.
This one we have to keep.
And I think that
I don't
is
want the city to
a good way to be very targeted in what our communities need. And my question, though, Senator Jasinski, is this is a Min-State entity, and I'm just wondering if Min-State has a position on this, and if they are supportive, are they ready to go? So it's just important, what is the Min-State position on this particular piece of legislation?
Ms. Johnson or Senator Jasinski?
Thank you, Mr. Chair. I'll defer to my testifiers. Ms. Johnson.
Ms. Johnson.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Senator Nelson, the Southeast League has been working with the staff at Riverland. In particular, I've talked to a great extent with Peggy Young. She's the director of the customized training and business programs. And they are not only willing, they're eager. They are getting phone calls from cities all over southern Minnesota saying, when do we sign up? Where do we sign up? How do we sign up? So I know that they're more than willing. And I also had a conversation with the new president of Riverland, and she's very on board. The best part for her was when I said, by the way, you don't have to do anything. The Southeast League is going to take care of making the request, because it would be inappropriate for the Riverland to come directly. This is not a request from Riverland. It's a request from the Southeast League of cities on behalf of all the southern Minnesota cities.
Senator Nelson, any follow-up?
Thank you, Mr. Chair, and Ms. Johnson. Yes, this is a great approach. And in fact, I can see similar situations where we have very similar issues with having boiler inspection, people who can inspect boilers. And so I think this is a good solution, a very targeted solution, locally driven, and I think it does provide a good model going forward. I do think it's important, obviously, that the institution is on board, in-state. And also, I know that the Southeast League of Cities, you always do your research and are ready to go with these pieces of legislation. So I think it's a great piece of legislation, Mr. Chair. I'm hoping that we can get this out and get started training those needed for the water operators. Would water operators include boilers? Probably not.
No, that's a different,
It's a whole different
Senator
set.
Johnson?
Thank you.
So I can remind you and the others, you have to give us a little pause.
Thank you.
Because we have to make sure that you are speaking through the chair, just so we can also make sure that the record is clear, okay?
thank you, Mr.
You've been
Chair.
doing a wonderful job, all right? So, Ms. Johnson, to the question.
Could you rephrase your question or restate?
Senator Nelson, just at the end, I think she says if there will be any training for boilers?
Yes.
So that's the question. Senator Johnson,
All right,
excuse me, Ms. Johnson.
Mr. Chair, and Senator Nelson, that's a different type of training, and there may be some applicable learning for, especially in the wastewater side of it, but it's not actually boiler operator training.
Right.
It really is for potable drinking water and creating that service and the facilities that serve it to make sure they're in good shape. And then also for the wastewater, it's a facility management type of education.
Any follow-up? Are you okay, Ms.
Thank you.
Nelson?
Thank you,
Senator
Mr.
Nelson?
Chair. Thank you very much. Great bill.
Senator Putnam.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. I have a couple questions following kind of along the line of that initiated by Senator Nelson, specific to the higher education component here. Is this an existing program that will be being more robust, or this is a brand-new program?
Mr. Chair?
Ms. Johnson.
Mr. Chair and Senator Putnam, these are going to be two brand-new programs for southern Minnesota and provided through Riverland. So these are not ones that are being extended or expanded. They do not exist in southern Minnesota right now. And that is why I think we're having a shortage.
Senator Putnam, any follow-up?
Yes, thank you, Mr. Chair. So given that it's a new program, are you concerned about the difficulty of recruiting instructors or teachers for a program like this?
Mr.
Ms.
Chair?
Johnson.
Senator Putnam, the irony of having so many vacancies now because of retirements is that now we have retirees who are able to teach. We have filled, we've already had conversations with people about teaching, yes, for both water and wastewater.
Senator Pratt. You have I'm sorry, Senator Pratt. I think Senator Putnam had a follow-up. Senator Putnam.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Just one further question. Given that it's a one-time appropriation for 1 year, it's 3 years? Oh, okay. Even that it's a temporary appropriation, that it's not going through Min-State specifically in terms of kind of a structural investment, do you have concerns about having faculty there creating this program temporarily, or do you intend, hopefully, to extend it after the duration of this current bill?
Ms. Johnson.
Mr. Chair, Senator Putnam, this is meant to be an ongoing program. We need the funds to get it started, to get it developed, and a marketing approach to it is also part of the bill, because when you start a new program, and here we're starting 2 new programs, you need all the marketing materials. So Riverland will have to create all the paper things and the online things and everything, and get those distributed out to cities, to workforce centers. Our workforce centers are wonderful. They are eager to help with this because they know there's a need. And they know that there are people coming to them who would be good candidates. And so that's why we need to have basically a 3-legged stool here. We have Riverland, we have the workforce centers, and we have the Southeast League of Cities working with all the cities in southern Minnesota, because the cities need to be part of that whole solution too.
Senator Putnam, follow up.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. I just want to say this looks like a wonderful program. It's incredibly important, and hopefully that someday everyone will have as good water treatment facilities as St. Cloud does. But I also want to say, in terms of the long-term viability of the program, I would encourage you to get more engaged in the higher education dimension of this jurisdiction in the legislature and having greater investment from in-state. Because if you wanted to have legs and keep walking for a while, you're going to need their help a little bit more, I think. Thank you, Mr. Chair.
Senator Pratt.
Well, thank you, Mr. Chair, and Senator Putnam and Senator Nelson kind of opened up to a couple of my questions, if I may, and then you inspired a question that I'd like to follow up on. So, Mr. Chair and Ms. Johnson, you said this is the first program in southern Minnesota. I'm presuming there are similar programs elsewhere in the state?
Ms. Johnson.
Mr. Chair, Senator Pratt, the closest program is in St. Paul. There's one in St. Cloud, and also, I believe, in Vermillion.
Senator Pratt.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. And then will tuition be paid by students or paid by the city? How does this program become self-sustaining?
Ms. Johnson.
Mr. Chair, Senator Pratt, typically it's the employers who pay, which happens to be cities in this case. Cities typically pay for the training and also for any lodging, travel expenses, meals, et cetera. And that's why the closeness, the proximity is important for cities of all sizes, but especially those small cities. We need it close because the training costs alone are a lot.
Senator Pratt.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. And Mr. Chair, to kind of follow up on your question, right, as I looked at the bill, I saw about $70,000 in startup costs. I maybe segmented it, but I shared your concern over the $15,000 in city expense just to administer the program, and maybe you could provide some more light on what that looks like. I want to make sure as many of the state funds go in direct support of the recipients, the beneficiaries.
Ms. Johnson.
Mr. Chair and Senator Pratt, the startup costs for, I'll back up. For the city of Austin, they have their own startup costs of creating the whole recording process and being in contact with Riverland as far as designating which components of these listed needs will be, which category do the funds go in, to keep track of all that. They will be audited as a city during their city audit. This will become part of their city audit. And now we have a requirement for some additional, and we have an amendment proposed and passed for additional record keeping, fiscal accountability, and those are all good things, but they're not free. And because it is over a period of 3 years, and chances are the audit at the 4th year after the closeout will still be more extensive than the normal city audit. So what we're trying to cover is not all of the city audit and all the city expenses, but the ones that are just for this program. And so it ends up being $5,000 a year. That's not a lot when you consider all the auditing costs per year that will be in addition, and also the staff time that they will be putting into this. They're actually giving us a great deal.
Senator Pratt.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. So will you need to hire somebody part-time in order to do this work? Will it be, you've already got staff on hand that's doing similar type work. Are you adding headcount in order to cover this?
Ms. Johnson.
I will defer to Mayor King of Austin.
Mr. Mayor.
Thank you, Mr. Chair and Senator. No, we would not be adding to, Austin has been shrinking in our head count, but this is something that our finance director will be able to take on as an existing part of his job.
Any follow-up, Senator Pratt?
No, Mr. Chair, I just, and nothing against Senator Jasinski or the Austin folks or Senator Pappas and her folks, but I think we do need to look at these administrative costs and making sure that we have a handle on what is truly incremental cost that's going to be incurred by any recipient versus, what can be absorbed. And in some cases, I'm kind of hearing some of this cost can be absorbed within the existing staff. I just think we need to take a deeper look at administrative costs overall.
And Senator Jasinski, that would be something, should this bill become a part of a going forward bill, because if you look at the aggregated costs on 2.3, 2.5, and 2.9, if you aggregate that, that's $115,000, and that's not including what's on line 1.19, because in lines 1.19 through 1.21, even there, it includes recruiting students, but also in 2.3, it says $65,000 is to develop program marketing, including marketing outreach, and to distribute marketing materials. So, Senator Jasinski, I think you wanted to say something.
Yep, thank you, Mr. Chair. And I understand Senator Pratt's concerns over administrative costs, so I totally understand that. I think the marketing, including marketing outreach and marketing materials, I think is a separate thing. If you combine the two, the $35,000 on line 2.5 and the line 2.9, you are correct, it's $50,000. And I understand we want to keep those down, and there's been a lot of lines at 10% that like to see that. I will tell you, I sit on the Transportation Committee, and their typical programming costs are 17%, so there are a range of those type of admin costs. I know, again, in all our budgeting for transportation, we use 17%. This is also two programs. This is water treatment, and this is wastewater. If you divided those in half and you took the 14.2%, that's about 7% per program. So it does and it doesn't, the way you want to look at it. We want to get this passed, so I'm happy to work with you and members to get it acceptable, or even possibly, modifying the line 2.5 to 20,000. Somehow we need to get this program in going, because there is a shortage. So I'm happy to work with you on how to get that. I do not have any MinSCU people here to ask about that, if they can absorb 15,000. I know the cities are always put in a lot of different things, so I would try and protect the 15,000. The city has to do it. They do have the staff, but they have many other things they have to do. So one way or another, if we need to modify the dollar amounts, I'm happy to work with you as the chair to get this program across the finish line, because it's something we definitely need. So any way you'd want to go about it, I'm happy to work with you and members to, go to adjust to your concerns.
And just so that we know, before I go to Senator Draheim, in our committee, it sounds like you guys are doing great work and great administrative cost allocations in transportation at 17%. We usually don't go anywhere near that. If 5%, like that seems like max in my mind, right? But it could be a little different. But I want to get to, unless you're speaking that, I would have to get to Senator Draheim.
Just to that point, to Senator Jasinski, if I recall, thank you, Mr. Chair, if I recall, the 17% in transportation includes engineering costs as well. And so it's truly not pure administrative.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. I was going to correct myself. That does include design and that as well. Senator Pratt just fought for, but 17 popped up to my mind right away, and yes, it does include the design fee. So yes, you are correct.
Senator Draheim.
Thank you. Great discussion, but I think the bottom line is, Chair, this is something that's needed, especially in the smaller communities in southern Minnesota. So I think we can work through the details. And, all this discussion on costs, and I'm a big fan of very low administrative costs, as everybody knows. But I remember authoring, when I was in the higher ed committee, a grant. I believe the grant was $200,000. I think it was for large animal vets. And we were going to help pay for veterinarians that worked in rural Minnesota, not on kittens and puppies, but on farm animals, livestock. And we were going to pay part of their college debt if they worked in these veterinarians. And I remember Min-State coming with a fiscal note for $100,000 to run this $200,000 program for 2 years. $100,000 for a $200,000 program. and maybe I'm off on the 2 years, maybe it was 5 years, whatever it was, long time ago. So if we're looking at a few $1,000s, which matters, and I think this is an important discussion, I am shocked at how low the administration costs are. Do I want it lower? Of course. But I just wanted to remind people and put it in perspective that there's really no long-term fiscal cost once the program's up and running. Hopefully, the cost of the state will be very low, and more importantly, it will provide more clean water for our kids, and that should be the focus. I like it so much, Senator Jasinski, I want to sign on to the bill. So if you would add me to it, I would appreciate that. So I
Mr.
urge
Chair?
everybody to vote yes.
Senator Jasinski.
Mr. Chair, to my understanding, the bill has been full because everybody likes the bill so much. Senator Gustafson, I guess, is in line ahead of you, so I could not offer you that application because I promised her if there was an opening, she could have it. I found out just this morning that there is not, so I wish I could, but unfortunately, Senator Gustafson has rank over you in that aspect. But it is a great program. I'll just close with that. It's a great program. We can work through the details of this, but again, it's a great program. It's something we definitely need, and it's very important. So thank you, Mr. Chair, and thank you, committee members. It's great discussion, and I totally agree with Senator Pratt's points, and as well as Senator Draheim's. So, Mr. Chair, thank you again for hearing the bill.
So it's very clear to me that you don't agree with my points. Because you said your GOP brother there, and your GOP brother there, but the guy that's
Senator Champion, I agree with your points you made as well. So, thank you.
Mr. Chair.
You. It's so good to see you. Of course, I like to mess with you always.
But, Mr. Chair, I had some comments.
Oh, you do have some comments?
Yes.
Okay,
Yes.
Senator
Thank-
Nelson, before
Thank
we
you.
lay 3411 on the table.
Yes, thank you. You did see my name there, yes.
I didn't.
Oh, okay.
Because you also didn't have the
light.
lighted pen.
I will correct that, Mr. Chair, for tomorrow. So, no, seriously, so there's just so many good things to like here, but I would be remiss if I didn't mention just some of the things that I think need to think about going forward, because I think this does provide a model to address the individual needs of different careers and also different parts of the state. The one thing I would note is that it is really important to get Min State. So it would have been so helpful to have them here. But we know that will be coming. But I also think that this could provide a broader model. In fact, I'm thinking about a way, maybe going forward, that Senator Jasinski or Ms. Johnson, you might be interested in this, in that how do we, it's a good thing to work with the Workforce Development, Inc., with the community, but then how do you do that? And there might be a way that we can do that. Maybe it doesn't need to be through a Min State entity, unless, I don't know, is there college credit? Are they accredited instructors? There's all of these type of questions that really need to be answered at some point, especially if we're going to do this, and I think we will do this for other things, maybe boiler operators, for example. But the question is, there's still a lot of questions, and I think it would be really good to work with Min State and continue your work with the WDI to see, is there another way to do this? Maybe going through our local community colleges is the right thing to do. But maybe it's not. Maybe there are other ways to offer these trainings. So I encourage you, as you go forward, to even think a little bit broader as far as developing a model that we can replicate. So look forward to seeing who those graduates are. My question is, is there college credit? And is FAFSA accepted? But you said the cities are paying for it. But is there college credit? Is it a certificate? What do they get at the end of the coursework?
Ms. Johnson.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Senator Nelson, these types of programs are geared toward getting the trainees to be able to pass state exams from the MPCA for the wastewater training and from Minnesota Department of Health for the water training. And that's really their certificate of achievement, is when they get that license. And so whatever they would happen to get from the community college is not the same in any shape as getting that state license. That's their goal as a student.
Mr. Chairman.
Any follow-up, Senator
Yep,
Nelson?
thank you. Just my last comment. I think it's important then to monitor that. How many took this course? How many got the certificate? That's part of that data collection that will be really helpful to make sure it continues or that it's able to evolve into other areas. So thank you so much. Thank you, Mr. Chair.
Thank you. Any other questions of the testifier or Senator Jasinski? Seeing none, Senate file number 3411 will be laid on the table for possible inclusion.
Thank you, Mr. Chair.
Thank you.
Members, we will now have Senator Mohamed come up to the testifier's table to present Senate file 3636. All right, Senator Mohamed, welcome on that side of the room. I understand that you have an A1 amendment.
I do. I don't. I think someone else does. Like I
Oh,
do.
I'm sorry, I have a note here that tells me something else, so sorry about that. So, Senator Mohamed, present the bill and welcome to your testifiers. And we've been reminding all the testifiers that they have 2 minutes each, so.
I just need a minute.
Chair, it's my A1.
Yes, I
Sorry
understand
about
it. It's,
Thank you,
all
Chair.
right. Senator Mohamed, to your bill.
Thank you, Chair Champion, members of the committee. Before you is Senate File 3636, a $500,000 appropriation for GMCC STEM workforce program. The program aims to address the stark underrepresentation of youth of color in the STEM workforce. Currently, white individuals occupy 67% of this workforce, while Black individuals make up merely 9% and Indigenous community about 1%. This disparity underscores systematic lack of access to skill-building opportunities within marginalized communities. With an initial investment of $500,000 in fiscal year 2025, this program will support Lake Street Youth Labs, providing a year-round STEM training for PIPOC youth from grades 1 to 12 through a curriculum development, career assistance, mentorship from professionals at institutions like NASA and the University of Minnesota Chemistry Department and Social Emotional Learning. They aim to empower our youth and cultivate a more inclusive STEM workforce. While GMCC has secured initial funding through grants, they need support from our legislature in order to continue and operate their program. And I have a testifier with me.
All right. Adrian Dorn, is that correct? All right. The Executive Director of Greater Minneapolis Council of Churches here to testify. Welcome. State your name for the record and please provide us your wonderful 2 minutes of testimony.
Thank you, Mr. Chair and committee members. My name is Adrian Dorn. I'm the Executive Director of GMCC. We were founded as the Greater Minneapolis Council of Churches, and we are an interfaith, multicultural, nonprofit social services agency in South Minneapolis. For 118 years, we have addressed unequal access to resources through a variety of programs and services. And for over 6 decades, we have offered various iterations of youth and family programming. Our current year-round, out-of-school workforce development and academic enrichment programming for youth in grades 1 through 2012 is called Lake Street Youth Labs. It focuses on our Phillips neighborhood of South Minneapolis and serves predominantly low-income BIPOC youth and families. These services originated as a program at the onset of COVID-19. The vast majority of youth in our community come from households with little to no computer access, no high-speed internet, no resources to hire tutors, and parents or guardians with limited digital navigation and English language skills, which made distance learning impossible. So we were approached by faith and community leaders asking for help, and as a response, we launched a no-cost distance learning support program that served 70 BIPOC youth and simultaneously provided computer literacy courses for their parents. But even when classrooms returned to in-person, varying factors continue to make it difficult for many students to meet academic standards and adequately prepare for the workforce. So Lake Street Youth Labs grew into a year-round program that provides out-of-school enrichment activities that aim to spark interest and build skills in STEAM topics, science, tech, engineering, arts, and mathematics, decrease educational disparities, provide opportunities for career exploration, and prepare underinvested youth for the workforce. Our curriculum is designed and delivered by our roster of experienced classroom teachers and youth workers, as well as partners who have expertise in various subject matters. Since spring of 2023, GMCC has served about 200 youth through its summer and after-school programming, 88% of which are BIPOC, and we seek funding now because demand for our programming is increasing rapidly. We have seen an increase in registration for both school year and summer programming. All of our programming is no cost, and we have successfully secured some private and corporate foundation partners and even some government funding, but in order to sustain our programming and expand to meet demand, we do need some gap funding.
Thank you so much for your testimony. Those things that you didn't get to, if you have one last sentence, that's great. Please feel free to send anything electronically, and we'll make sure that it gets to the rest of the committee, okay? Senator Mohamed, any other testifiers?
I believe that's all.
All right. Senator Drahan.
Thank you, Chair. I have a delete all amendment. Just kidding. I would like to offer the A1. She wasn't even listening. I would like to offer the A1 amendment, Chair. It is the same amendment we saw in the Senator Jasinski bill that we just finished up with, transparency reporting back to the committee to make sure we are using our funds wisely in the future.
Senator Drahan offers the A1 amendment. Any discussion? Senator Nelson.
My discussion's for later, after the amendment.
Okay. Any other discussion on the A1 amendment? Senator Mohamed, your thoughts about the A1 amendment?
Chair Champion, Senator Draham, I accept the amendment.
All right. All in favor of the A1 amendment, say aye. Aye. All those opposed, say no. The motion prevails. Senator Nelson.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. My question is about a couple things. What curriculum is being used for STEM?
Ms. Dorn.
Curricula.
Mr. Chair, our curriculum is designed and delivered by a roster of guides that we have, hourly employees who are experienced classrooms, youth workers, social workers. One is an assistant principal. We have 2 full-time youth staff who have years of experience working in education. They design and deliver curriculum, but we also do partner with other nonprofit organizations that have expertise in different subject matters. So for example, right now we are subcontracting Create Minneapolis to deliver a robotics curriculum to our youth. We have had nature centers come and visit. We've had other STEM builders come and visit, and so it's a combination of our own guides and outside partners.
Senator Nelson.
Thank you, Mr. Chair, and thank you. I think it is important to have a broad curricula, and so I appreciate hearing that you've got qualified people teaching. I think it's just good to know what that curricula is. We often require that for our schools so that our parents know what the curriculum is if they choose. So I think that's an important thing to consider, having a good record of that. And then I know my colleagues, we have added other amendments regarding transparency and funding transparency. I also think it's important, I won't make an amendment today, but something to consider, maybe even as we go forward, Mr. Chair. When we talk about things like STEM or education, it's really about the outcome. And so it'd be, I think, an improvement to keep data on how many students started the program, what % finished, is there any type of I don't know what the metric would be to show that there was growth in interest in STEM or knowledge of STEM. I just think having some of those, since it's an educational program, discovery, career program, I think it'd be important to have some educational checkpoints as well and data. Thank you.
All right. Ms. Dorn or Senator Mohamed, any reaction to to Senator Nelson's comments?
Thank you, Chair Champion. Senator Nelson, I agree. I think that we should always know what the metrics are based on the money that we're giving out. So, thank you.
Senator Draheim.
Thank you. And it sounds like a great program. Thank you for doing it. Just a question about, so this is a program you've been working on and doing year after year. And is it the summer camp? Is that part of it then? Which is great. Last year you had 58 students according to the handout here. And then is that what you're participating on for this year, is somewhere in that ballpark?
Ms. Dorn.
Mr. Chair, we have served about 200 youth over the past year because we do provide year-round during the school year programming as well, during the week, and STEM Saturdays we call them, so Saturday programming. I am anticipating an increase in participation both this summer and in our year-round and in our school year programming. We're doing registration a little bit differently this year, and so I anticipate that we'll be able to serve about 80 young people this summer, but about 250 for the entire year.
Senator Draheim, any follow-up?
No, I appreciate that. Thank you.
And Ms. Dorn, can you remind me again, how many years have you been doing this program?
This program started in during COVID in 2020, and it has sort of been piloted and taken different iterations since that time. We have been operating at this capacity for about 2 years now, but really we've been providing these services since late 2020.
And when you say that you have been doing this since 2020, who has funded it in the past?
Mr. Chair, we did receive some COVID-specific funding that was one-time funding and had to be spent in a very specific time frame. We do have private and corporate foundation donors. Sometimes that's $10,000, $15,000 here and there. We're very, very grateful for that support. There's probably about 15 private and corporate foundation donors, but it still doesn't fill all of the expenses.
And Ms. Dorn, you indicated that during the summer months, you do roughly 58. Did I hear that correctly? And then, and what is the number that you've traditionally had throughout the year?
Mr. Chair, yes, last summer we had 58 participants in our summer camp. It was the first summer that we did it the way that we did, which was all day 9 to 5, Monday through Friday for 5 weeks. And that really, we did it right up until the school started, so it fills a common childcare gap for working families, which was also a really important part of the program. This summer I anticipate serving 80, and throughout the entire year I anticipate serving 250. We've served about 200 over the past year.
And Ms. Dorn, will this $500,000 increase those numbers, and to what number? Because if you did 200 last year, it sounds like you only expect to increase your numbers. Well, let me not anticipate your answer. What will the $500,000 do? If you've already been doing 200 students year round, and in the summer, last year you did 58, but you're looking at doing 80 this summer. That only seems to be 22 additional people. And so I want to understand, what will the $500,000 do in order to help you reach your goals?
Mr. Chair, between summer programming and year-round programming, I anticipate serving 250 youth in this next year. We served 200 last year, and I anticipate that that will go up even more the following year.
Okay, so an additional 50 students throughout the year, and an additional 22 students coming up this summer. Is that fair to say?
Mr. Chair, I anticipate serving an additional 50 students in this coming year than we did this last year.
So you-
but for that to increase year over year, pardon me.
Okay, got it. So you're looking at serving 108 students then, over the summer then?
My numbers, I'm talking about summer and school year combined.
Oh, okay. All right. Any additional questions?
Isn't that with your existing funding? I think he wants to know.
Senator Nelson?
Thank you. I think I'm trying to get to the same question you are. I'm trying to figure out, for $500,000, how many students are going to be served? So that should be a straightforward math issue. And I'm not sure we know that could be different amounts per student, but if it was the same, how many students would be served with $500,000?
Ms. Dorn?
Mr. Chair, pardon me, I misunderstood the question. We anticipate serving 250 this coming year with the existing funding that we have. But if we get this appropriation, I anticipate that we could serve many more than that, maybe another 100, another increase in 100, another 100 students.
Senator Nelson?
So, Mr. Chair, so I understand then $500,000 will serve 100 more students.
Ms. Dorn?
Mr. Chair, that's per year, an increase of
year.
100 per year.
Yes, and this appropriation is for 1 year. Pardon me? How many years is this appropriation for?
It looks like until June of 2027.
So one time, $500,000 for 3 years would serve, in this case, 100 students for 3 years, or 300. Yes, thank you.
Any additional questions? All right, I don't have any other amendments, is that correct? All right. Any final questions, Senator Mohamed, or statements?
No, thank you.
All right. With that being said, thank you, Ms. Dorn, for being here. We sincerely appreciate it. Senate file number 3636 will be laid on the table for possible inclusion. All right, members, we are now on Senate file number 3788, which is also a bill authored by Senator Mohamed. I understand that we have a number of testifiers, and they will testify for 2 minutes each. And just so that I'm clear, is Aisha Abdulwali, is she online?
Yes.
Okay. So we will end up, once Senator Mohamed gives some opening testimony, we will then go to Aisha Abdulwali, who is a program graduate well, she's a program graduate. That's what I have. All right. Senator Mohamed.
Thank you, Chair Champion, members of the committee. Before you is Senate File 3788, a workforce appropriation for the Inspired Change Clinic, which is a dynamic hub dedicated to addressing healthcare challenges and fostering economic growth within our community. The grant would be allocated towards supporting their workforce, including teachers and clinicians who facilitate student training, as well as addressing various needs to student access, such as transportation, application/licensing fees, and other financial barriers. Inspired Change not only address problems, but they are also a catalyst solution, from pioneering peer support programs for marginalized communities struggling with alcohol addiction to innovative initiatives like the Teen and Young Adult Program. They not only provide essential resources, but they also nurture the next generation of diverse healthcare leaders. This clinic will present solutions that will create over 40 new healthcare positions within the community through their collaborative efforts, where they're building a more inclusive, prosperous future for all. And Chair Champion, should we be doing the amendment first?
If that's what you like to do, we can certainly do that. All
I
right.
assume that Senator Graham is ready for it.
The A1 amendment?
Whatever amendment that Senator Graham has.
Yes, if it's okay with you, Chair, I would love to offer the A1 amendment.
Senator Graham offers the A1 amendment. Any questions? Senator Mohamed, your thoughts about the A1 amendment?
I accept the amendment.
All those in favor say aye.
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 All those opposed say no. The motion prevails. Would you like for us now, Senator Mohamed, to go to Aisha Abdulwali?
Yes, Chair
All right.
Champion.
Hi, we would like for you to state your name for the record and give us your 2 minutes of testimony. It's so good to see you.
Hello, my name is Aisha Abdulwali. I'm a program graduate and I'm a current first-year undergraduate student at Harvard College. And so I'm here because Inspire Change Clinic really helped me craft together my college application and also helped me push programs in my high school to encourage students to volunteer at local hospitals, which was a goal of mine. And so during the college application process, I felt really insecure about my college essays and how I would craft them. And through the program in Inspire Change Clinic, I was able to overcome this barrier by receiving helpful feedback that helped me strengthen my narrative voice so I could successfully craft a college application to get into my dream college. As well as helping me throughout my college application process, Inspire Change Clinic has also helped me achieve my own personal goals. I've wanted to encourage other students in my high school to volunteer at a local hospital, and I didn't really know how to put that goal into action, and Inspire Change Clinic helped me contact a local hospital so that I was able to put up a booth in my high school and encourage other students to volunteer at the hospital that I was volunteering at. And so Inspire Change Clinic encouraged me to reach my fullest potential while also extending that opportunity to my peers. And so I would really like this program to continue to be supported so it can continue to inspire and support many other students. Thank you.
Thank you so much for your testimony. We sincerely appreciate it. And if you'll stay around, perhaps there'll be some questions from the committee for you. We will now go to Najra Ali.
Yes.
And I hope I'm pronouncing that correctly. If not, please feel free to correct me and state your name for the record and give us your testimony.
Oh, it was Nasra Ali. Thank you, Chair Champion and members of the committee for having me. My name is Nasra Ali. I'm a senior in high school, and I'd like to share a little about myself and how Inspired Change has helped shape my future. When an old tree falls, some people see it as a tragedy. However, unseen from the carcass of the tree, mushrooms bloom, slowly decaying the remnants, allowing for new life to flourish. In many ways, my life has been like a seed growing out of decay. At a young age, I started to resent my circumstances and wished for the lives of my peers. I was never fortunate enough to have access to the same resources as my affluent classmates. I began to doubt my capabilities, believing my path was already carved. I could no longer envision my dream of becoming a doctor until I met Inspire Change leaders at a community health fair. They sparked my interest again, and I began to take part in their teen outreach program, where I was exposed to hands-on experience in college prep for the first time. They helped me recognize my worth and even started checking in on me regularly. After years of compartmentalizing, old ambitions began to reawaken. Thanks to this amazing organization, I found solace in volunteering and community outreach. Within my time in the Inspire Change program, I gained positive outlook on life, and I'm always in search of education and health. This graduation cycle, I will be rewarded with the International Baccalaureate Diploma, and I inspire to enlighten my community the same way I have been. Through Inspire Change, I have had the privilege to promote youth health literacy, and I have made amazing healthy relationships, and with their support, I have grown from a timid sprout into a sapling. Just as a single tree cannot flourish by itself, my growth has required the strength of many others. Despite the challenges I have faced in the forest of my life, I feel confident that my tree will not only strengthen, but encourage growth in others. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Thank you for that testimony. We will now go to Alam Abdurrahman.
Close enough. Chair
Oh,
Champion.
you can correct me. It's okay. What is it?
Ahlam Abdurrahman.
All right.
Thank you, Chair Champion and members of the committee. My name is Ahlam, and I'm a current junior at McAllister College on the pre-medical path. Coming from a disadvantaged background, I've had to navigate the educational system largely on my own. I researched endlessly in high school to figure out what classes I should take, how to score well in college exams, and what it takes to get into a good college. This made the process of college admissions much more difficult for me because, unlike my peers, I didn't have family members to reach out to or connections that would aid me in this process. Although I managed to figure out the college admissions process on my own, it turns out that the medical school admissions process is a completely different and much more expensive ballgame. One of the most important parts of a medical school application is clinical hours, so hours where you're working and interacting with patients at a hospital. Going to a smaller liberal arts school, it was incredibly difficult to find opportunities within the area that would allow me to interact with patients. I ended up reaching out to the Inspire Change clinic leaders to see if there were any programs that they knew of that would help me gain clinical experience. They connected me to the director of My Life, My Story, a program that focuses on writing patients' life stories to allow providers to learn more about their patients. As an English major who loves to write, this program was perfect for me, but I wouldn't have been able to find it without their help. I had never previously heard of this program, and neither had the internship directors at my college that I was working with. They also had asked me to volunteer with them at upcoming health fairs, and through that, I met a doctor that I was able to shadow with and help further my career. For disadvantaged students like myself, it is incredibly important to make connections with our field of interest to advance our careers. And a program that focuses on the advancement of disadvantaged students would help diversify the field of medicine so that all patients can find representation within their healthcare providers. Thank you.
Thank you so much for that testimony. Next would be Shikra Jamali. And you can correct me where I'm wrong, because I know I'm sorry. But if you'll say your name for the record and give us your testimony. Welcome again to the committee.
Thank you, Chairperson Champion. My name is Shukri Jamali, and thank you for the entire committee for having us today. I'm a nurse leader here in the Twin Cities and part of the Inspire Change Board of Directors. I'm very excited to share with you our program that's aimed to address the pressing issues of healthcare staffing shortages. Our goal is to enrich the future healthcare workers through a robust mentorship program that provides guidance and support for up to 80 students each year as they pursue careers in the medical field. The Inspire Change Clinic Fellowship Program caters to both teens preparing for college applications and college students seeking directions in their career pathways. The program offers a special opportunity to teenagers and young adults to learn about different career healthcare jobs and support the profession, get support from professionals in the field. Students also receive independent assistance from a counselor and social worker to help access resources that they otherwise would not know about. Throughout their time with us, students take part in various activities like mentorship sessions, hands-on experiences, skill building workshops, community building events to learn, grow, and connect with others who share the same interest. We believe that through this program, students will not only become the healthcare leaders of tomorrow, but also gain the knowledge and skills needed to pursue their aspirations. By nurturing and guiding these young healthcare professionals, we hope to create a more inclusive, vibrant workforce. Although we have been fortunate enough to mentor and support about 10 students in the past 4 years, with this structured program, we're confident in our capacity to enroll and provide assistance to more than 80 students in our first year. You can rest assured that this program also has stringent criteria for identifying and enrolling students who lack mentorship connections and financial connections, and providing them with the opportunities to explore the healthcare field on an equal footing with their peers. I take pride in serving in this board and eagerly anticipate a chance to continue to positively impact the students in Minnesota. Thank you.
Thank you so much. And I will add that every one of the testifiers were right at 2 minutes, so I'm so impressed by that. So I sincerely appreciate that. So let me ask this question. Any questions for Senator Mohamed or testifiers? Senator Draheim.
Thank you. Sounds like a wonderful program. How long has it been? You said last year you did 10, or the last 4 years you've had 10 people go through the program?
Yeah. Thank you, Senator Drahan and Chair Champion. So we've been going for 4 years in this smaller scale of the work, so 10 students in that 4 years that we've mentored in.
Follow-up, Chair?
Senator Drahan.
Thank you. And I'll try to keep it for under 2 minutes. When you say healthcare workers, is that just the traditional medical field, or is that dentistry or some other field? What is all encompassed by that healthcare workforce that you're trying to achieve?
Ms. Jamali.
Thank you, Senator Champion and Senator Drahan. So we do start with entry-level medical certificates. So for students who are interested in nursing assistant, phlebotomy, or medical assistants, we're able to help them in-house, and our team members and our board members are able to help connect them and initiate them in those programs. But we really strive for a higher education, and our goal is to have students like Aisha enrolled in Harvard Pre-Med or McAllister Harvard Pre-Med. So we are a spectrum of students, whether it's the teenage years or in the college preparatory path.
Thank you.
Any other questions? Senator Nelson.
Oh, thank you, Mr. Chair. Well, first, I want to congratulate the young lady who got her international baccalaureate degree. We know diploma. We know those are incredibly challenging, and congratulations to you. And I had a question also about the, I'm not exactly sure the scope. If the scope is helping students access that training for, or fellowship or healthcare institutions. I'm assuming you don't have the healthcare training right in-house there, but I'm just trying to understand if it's the connections and helping get students into healthcare fellowships or healthcare training. Can you just kind of describe that process for me a little bit, please?
To the testifier.
Thank you, Senator Champion.
And if you'd be so kind, because you have a wonderful voice, but it's so soft that we can't really hear you. So if you would get a little closer to that mic, that'd be great.
Thank you so much for that question. So it is twofold. We have a fellowship program where we introduce students to the healthcare profession. We give them hands-on experience in terms of our clinic itself. So students are able to take blood pressures, they're able to see what that is. Starting at the age of 13, we can take students through the fellowship program. Throughout that time, they get to meet with counselors who will help them with other needs as they arise, whether it is applications to colleges, whether it is getting into a nursing program, and furthermore. I think that it is kind of multifaceted in the sense that we have the quarterly fellowship program, which introduces students who may not have an idea of what they want to do or already have an idea but want to learn more. What careers are out there and give them a better idea. We also have in-house nursing assistant program as well as a phlebotomy program with certificates. And then the other fellowship program for entry level when they are going to apply to, let's say, a nursing program or a medical school. That's not in-house at all.
Follow-up, Senator Nelson?
Thank you, Mr. Chair. So you do have the programs in-house as well to offer those certificates. Then my final question is, you have high school students, and my question is, are those high school students doing some of those certificates or some of that training? Are they able to get a post-secondary enrollment option? So they're actually getting high school credit and college credit at the same time as they're taking those courses?
To the testifier.
Thank you for that question. That's a very good question. It is dependent on age. We do take students as young as 13 years old, and they are getting the introductory course, which is a curriculum that does not give them credit for higher education. That introductory course is, at the end, they get a certificate from our clinic saying they've completed this, but it does not give them credit for college at all. If they do take the nursing assistant program, or if they take the nursing assistant course, they will end up with nursing assistant credits as well as a certificate, which they can easily even test out for the exam at the end.
Any additional questions for any of the testifiers? I have one question. How many students will be served by the appropriation? If we're able to find $1 million, how many students would that help?
We're anticipating 80 students the first year, but up to 100 students will be served with this grant.
You anticipate how many students?
80.
80, okay. All right. And your program, it sounds like because of a variety of programs, how long are they? Are they usually all year long or just a certain number of weeks? Can you kind of explain that to me? And if you said it, I'm sorry that I missed it.
No problem. Thank you, Chair Champion. Our program is a 12-week curriculum in the beginning with the introduction, but we are with our students for a year. So our first cohort that started 4 years ago are still in our program until they reach their career aspirations. So they really just grow out of the program as they advance. Initially, though, it's that 12-week course that we use to introduce students to it, and then we're mentoring them throughout their career pathway.
Any additional questions for the testifier or Senator Mohamed before she gives us her closing words, before we lay Senate file number 3788 on the table for possible inclusion? Seeing no hands up, Senator Mohamed, closing comments.
Thank you, Chair Champion. There's not, I feel like every time I've been through this committee, there's sort of like one workforce initiative that I'm like, I love this. And last session, it was All Square, and I still love them. But this might be my new favorite one.
Okay.
So thank you.
Well, with that being said, since there's no additional questions, we will lay Senate file number 3788 on the table for possible inclusion. And thank you to all of the testifiers who came forward today.
Thank you all for your time.
Now, members, a couple things. Our next meeting will be next Monday. We will have DEED present an overview of some of their new programs and update us on their progress of those programs. On Wednesday of next week, our plan is to hold a confirmation hearing for Commissioner Verlick, as well as hear from updates from Explore Minnesota and others. Members, the reason why I'm also highlighting Commissioner Verlick, because I know that he's making rounds to come to your offices to answer any questions that you might have, so that you are not meeting him for the very first time once he articulates his thoughts so clearly in front of our committee. So hopefully that you'll be reminded to meet with the commissioner, and so he can have an opportunity with you. Senator Housley.
Thank you, Mr. Chair, for giving us a heads up for next week. Is paid family medical leave going to be on the agenda at all next week? Just curious, because I know it was today and it got pulled.
Thank you. So, Senator Housley, it seems like you, my wonderful one, along with Senator Nelson, came in a little late. So we, and she asked me the same question. We gave notice to Senator Draheim that that had to be changed just because of scheduling. But it still will come up, and we will let you know when that's going to be. So that's why we had bills presented today in place of that. But we will schedule that, and we'll make sure that you have that advance notice about that as well. All right? With that being said, I hate to let you go, but I am. Have a good day. The committee is adjourned.